The sun had barely risen over the quiet coastal village when Ethan, a struggling fisherman, prepared his worn-out boat for another long day at sea. His boat, held together with hope and patches, creaked as it rocked gently in the waves. Fishing had not been good lately, and Ethan was days away from losing the only thing keeping him afloat, literally and financially. As he pushed off from the dock, the morning fog clung to the water, making visibility low. Still, Ethan pressed on, knowing he had to make the day count. Hours passed, and he caught nothing. Just as frustration began to settle in, a strange sight caught his eye through the mist, what looked like the tip of a large yacht slowly sinking into the water. Ethan's heart raced. He adjusted his course and headed toward the scene, not knowing what he would find. As he got closer, the sound of desperate cries pierced the air. A young woman was clinging to a piece of floating debris, her clothes soaked, her face pale and full of fear. Without a second thought, Ethan leaped into action. He reached out his hand and pulled her onto his boat with all the strength he had left. She was shivering uncontrollably, barely able to speak. "You're safe now," Ethan said gently, wrapping her in a blanket. "What happened?" The girl could only whisper, "The yacht. It hit something. Everyone else left in lifeboats. I was trapped inside. I thought I was going to die." Ethan quickly turned his boat back toward the shore, pushing his old engine harder than ever. As they made their way back, he kept an eye on the girl, offering her water and trying to keep her calm. She looked out at the sea with tears in her eyes, clearly still in shock. By the time they reached land, a small crowd had gathered, including local authorities. Paramedics rushed over and took the girl away for treatment. She looked back at Ethan one last time and mouthed the words, "Thank you." Ethan didn't think much of it. To him, it was just the right thing to do. He went back to his little shack by the sea, unaware that his life was about to change forever. Ethan didn't expect to hear from the girl again. After all, she was likely from a wealthy family, and he was just a broke fisherman struggling to survive each day. He returned to his simple routine, fishing by day, fixing his old boat by night, trying to forget about the strange, emotional rescue he'd experienced just days ago. But one morning, everything changed. A sleek black car pulled up near the dock where Ethan kept his boat. Out stepped the girl he had rescued, now dressed in fine clothes, her hair neat, her presence calm and confident. Behind her were two men in suits. "Ethan," she called out with a warm smile, "I've been looking for you." He was stunned. You're okay?" She nodded. "Thanks to you, I owe you my life." Ethan didn't know what to say. He glanced at the men behind her, assuming they were her bodyguards or assistants. "My name is Isabella," she continued. "Isabella Lane. My father owns Lane International." Ethan's eyes widened. Lane International was one of the biggest luxury brands in the world. He had seen their logo once on a billboard during a rare trip to the city. "I didn't realize," he started, but she stopped him. "You didn't ask. You just saved me. No hesitation, no questions." Her voice softened. "Most people would have ignored a sinking yacht. You risked everything." She stepped closer and handed him a small envelope. "I wanted to say thank you in my own way." Ethan opened it, expecting a thank you card. Instead, inside was a check with 6 zeros. He nearly dropped it. I can't accept this," he stammered. "You can, and you will," she said firmly. "Consider it a gift, not a payment. You gave me my life. The least I can do is help you live yours." Overwhelmed, Ethan tried to protest, but she smiled. "I also have another idea. My father owns a few boats, beautiful ones. I've convinced him to let you manage one of our private charters. You know the sea better than anyone I've met." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. For the first time in years, he felt hope. Real, solid hope. Months later, Ethan stood proudly on the deck of a brand-new charter yacht, welcoming guests aboard. He wore a clean uniform, had steady income, and even managed to buy back the home his family had lost years ago. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, Isabella stepped onto the deck, waving at him. "Ready for another sunset cruise, Captain?" she asked with a wink. Ethan smiled. "Always." What started as a rescue in the fog had turned into an unexpected friendship, and maybe something more. Because sometimes life throws you into deep waters, only to help you discover how far you can sail.